I said to Chris Sims yesterday at the beginning of the show, we could just take the full 2 hours, play that press conference, and press pause and address a soundbite and move on to the press conference and press pause again and take the full 2 hours.
Oh, exactly. I mean, it is you want to talk about annotating a press conference. That may be something. That's something you could. That's a whole exercise. It's like, wait a minute, let me just pause it. Did he just say that? Okay, let me tell you why that's a problem. Let me tell you why that makes no sense. Or let me tell you why he kind of talked himself in circles there. Did he really just say that? Yeah, that was one of the wildest press conferences I've seen in the last. I'm not going to say ever. I'll say in the last 20 years. No exaggerate. In the last 20 years, from considering the stakes, considering who it was, owner of a team, moved on from one of the most successful coaches in the franchise's history, and his logic, in a lot of cases, made no sense whatsoever. It was bizarre. And it was long. And it was long, too. It's not like, a 7-minute misstep. It was almost an hour of craziness.
Skilled PR professionals will know when to call out time for two more. My guess is, because Derek Boyko is a very skilled PR professional, and the next time I see him, I intend to pull him aside and ask a question that I am curious about. Not that the answer will ever be a subject for an item at PFT, but I suspect he was told we're going to go as long as they have questions. Because we're going to win this press conference. We're going to communicate our message. We're going to change minds as to anyone who may think that we got it wrong by firing Sean McDermott and promoting Admiral Beane. We are going to convince them that we got it right. So don't you call out. And at one point, I think I hear like there was kind of an effort, couple more, but it just blew right past that. I mean, they went until the thing petered out on its own. There was nothing left to ask. And, hey, Michael, I've said a few things from time to time that the various beats covering this team, that team, they get upset with me because I suggest that they aren't as rough and tumble as maybe they should be. I got to give them. I'm serious. This is a non-sarcastic golf clap.
They did.
They asked the questions. They did the job they're supposed to do. And so many fans out there don't want us to do the job we're supposed to do. They think if you ask tough questions, you hate football. That's been a topic of conversation. Like, all these curmudgeonly sports writers hate football. No, we're asking questions that the fans want to be asked or should want to be asked, because otherwise you have no accountability and these people run roughshod. And it's no surprise that, they kind of like it when they aren't asked tough questions. They kind of like getting softballs. They kind of like being able to say whatever the hell they want without anyone pushing back. This was an occasion when the people covering the Buffalo Bills pushed back and called BS and asked all the right questions, and I thought it was awesome.
Yeah, they did a great job. So wait a minute, Terry. So are you saying that if you had won that game, you said first he said it's a bad call. Hey, bad call. That was a catch. Okay. So you're saying you made the decision after the game. If they had won the game, would you have not have fired Sean McDermott? Well, I'm not getting into that. Okay. All right. So wait a minute. Where are you going with this? But I think you're right. I think they were told beforehand, hey, let Terry cook. Let Terry cook. I gotta
let Terry burn.
Let
Terry self-immolate.
Yeah, that's right. I got some things I gotta get off my chest, and these lowly members of the media. Let me outsmart these guys anyway. They don't know what they're doing. I'm the great Terry Pegula. I know how to set this message. I know how to just frame this in the perfect way. Let me do my thing. It may take a while. I need my carries. I need my touches before I really get going. So let me go.
You started to remind me a little bit of one of our mutual favorite comedy routines. as you were saying, he said some things when Bill Cosby's son reported back to him about Eddie Murphy's show. Daddy said some things, and Daddy said some stuff. And that may have been the same reaction for the people who saw. He said, and that may have been the same reaction for the people who were at the press conference, because they said some things and they said some stuff. And
some stuff.
I still have. Here's what I don't want to go too far into my method, because I don't want to encourage competition. But anybody that wants to sign their life over and spend every waking moment writing, thinking, and talking about football, feel free. Come take the job, please. I'm tired. But when I have a moment like this where there's a long press conference, I'll like mark down the time of when it was interesting, and then I go back to it, and I just realized within the last year that this phone, which has ended 50 different industries in America, I pull up the voice memo, I play the press conference, I hit record, and then when it's done, there's a transcript. So I copy the transcript, text it to myself, copy it from the text, paste it into the PFT story. Now you have to go back and listen to it to make sure that all the words are properly transcribed, because there are some hilarious errors that get made when they take the sounds and put them into words. But last night, like I've got like 4 more clips from a press conference 2 days ago that I haven't gotten to yet, because I don't want to overload PFT with all, because there's so much. Like, we can't just ignore it because it's like, man, no, there's so much there to talk about. But the one I did last night related to this whole question of whether or not there was any type of power play. And the way it was worded, it was fairly innocuous. Like, there's a perception among fans that there was a power play. And that one just really got me, because Brandon Beane gives a fairly straight answer to it. Then there's an interruption from the boss. I don't hire power play people. If I sense you're committing a power play, you're out of here, just like Sean McDermott. Maybe Sean McDermott was committing a power play after all. I don't know. But then all of a sudden, Beane's all cranked up and indignant and pissed off, and how dare you attack my character? And, the more I think about this, like, dude, nobody's attacking your character. This is a feature of the situation that these owners create, where if I'm not going to fire both guys, like, who the hell's going to stand up and say it was all my fault, fire me? I'm the reason why we suck. I'm the reason why we haven't gotten to a Super Bowl. Don't fire my good friend. I am Spartacus. Like, nobody's going to do that. So it's not an issue of character. The owner sets up a toxic situation, right, where when the shit hits the fan, you're going to point it at that guy. You're not going to point it at yourself. And it's not going to be a power play. It's a reaction to a toxic workplace.
Mike, it's just so basic. Look, Sean McDermott was there first in 2017. He had Doug Whaley as his general manager. Doug Whaley is out, so Sean McDermott's already there. The next general manager was approved by McDermott. That general manager is Brandon Beane. So they really were there together. Sean McDermott, Brandon Beane. It is fair to say, hey, these guys came in together. You think we hit the proverbial wall, Terry, let Terry cook. You think we hit the proverbial wall, playoff wall, then you decided to move on because it wasn't working, but you move on from McDermott on the field, and you keep, not only do you keep Beane, you promote him. That if you look at that, if you just look at that timeline, you say, well, wait a minute, something's strange here. Okay, one guy is out the door, the other guy gets promoted. How did that happen? And so if you're Beane, don't take it. It's not so personal. This is the reality of the business. This happens all the time. Sometimes those guys are out together, as we talked about a couple of days ago. Sometimes one of them stays and one of them goes. And generally in those situations, there's been a power play. Whether you want to call it that or not, there's been a power play. So, yeah, it probably was a power play. He doesn't want to say it that way, but that's what it was.
Power play club is like Fight Club. First rule of power play club is don't talk about power play club. So you don't come out and say you made a power play. It's like escaping from prison and turning around and taunting the guards who are trying to catch you. Like, keep running, You got away with it. And again, it's not a deliberate plan. It's not like Brandon Beane showed up in Buffalo saying, one of these days I'm gonna get the coach fired and I'm gonna get promoted and it's gonna be one hell of a trick and I'm gonna pull it off. It's just a situation when the ownership is flummoxed by the chronic failure of the team to get to the Super Bowl. Somebody's getting a pink slip. Everybody should have gotten the pink slip. That's the reality. When you are so beside yourself at the failure of the team, when you supposedly walk into the locker room and say, this is so bad in here, the vibe is so bad, I got to fire the coach. Maybe you got to fire everybody. Maybe that's how we got here. And so it's all, hey, dysfunctional teams do dysfunctional things. The dysfunction starts at the top of the organization. Some teams are good enough to mask the dysfunction that would otherwise flow from ownership. Having Josh Allen goes a long way toward masking the dysfunction in Buffalo, but it was on full display 2 days ago. I've gotten so many emails about this, and one of them was, are the Bills a dysfunctional team hiding in plain sight that we just hadn't noticed?
You know what it is also, Mike, when you describe Terry Pegula, he said, let me take you inside the locker room. And a lot of those guys were already in there. A lot of the people covering the team, I know. I was there. But anyway, let me take you inside the locker room and let you know what I saw. And, of course, this is what happens in playoff games. This is how most teams are in playoff after playoff losses. It's very upsetting. They all think they're going to win. They think about the next round. It's not just the game. It's the end of the season. It's the end of the meetings, the camaraderie, hanging out with your buddies, the whole thing. So it is. There are emotional locker rooms. But I think the problem with Pegula and a lot of other owners is that when you win a championship, when you win a Super Bowl, I think a lot of those owners, they think it's easy is maybe not the right word, but it's supposed to be my turn next. It's supposed to happen for me too. When they see these teams win multiple Super Bowls, they think, okay, they're doing that. Then we're up next. The late Jim Irsay, do you remember that comment he made when Andrew Luck took over as a starting quarterback for the Colts? Peyton Manning is out, and he pretty much said, we only won one with Peyton Manning, and we want to have multiples. So we're going to do it the right way. We don't have multiples with Andrew Luck. And I was thinking at the time, I don't think you guys are going to win another Super Bowl. It's hard. You won a Super Bowl competing with Tom Brady and the Patriots, Bill Cowher / Mike Tomlin with the Steelers. You had a really competitive AFC at the time, and you won one. And you got to two. That's not easy. You make it sound like you should have 3 or 4. So I think Terry Pegula is making the same mistake. Well, wait a minute. Well, God, we should get to the Super Bowl, shouldn't we? Well, maybe. I don't know. Hey, your quarterback turns it over 5 times. That will help.
Well, there's 2 issues, though. One, should he reasonably be upset that this collection of players around Josh Allen and coaching around Josh Allen hasn't gotten to a Super Bowl? And 2, if he is, how is he picking one to go and the other not just to stay, but to be promoted? That was the tactical error in all of this. Promoting Brandon Beane in the same Admiral press release that fired Sean McDermott. Promote Brandon Beane later. Promote him after the draft. See, nobody asks my opinion for a variety of reasons, but if they had come to me and said, here's what we're going to do on Monday. We're going to fire Sean McDermott, and we're going to promote Brandon Beane. So no one thinks that Brandon Beane was the problem. It's like, you're going to create a separate problem by doing that. McDermott goes, don't mention Beane, other than he'll remain at most, or he's going to be in charge of the search for a new coach. If you want to promote him, let's just do it after the draft. Let's let this first thing breathe a little bit and get some separation between the two so people don't get it all jumbled up. And by the way, before we move on, and we need to move on, the search for the coach most recently has resulted in an interview with Mike McDaniel, who I wouldn't have thought naturally would be a fit with the Bills. But, given how long they went on 2 days ago, could be a match made in monotony, frankly, between McDaniel and Pegula.
How long did you work on that one?
I don't know. I thought of it earlier this morning.
Line.
I texted it. I workshopped it. I workshopped it with my staff. I said, hey, based on how long they talked the other day, maybe it's a match made in monotony. So I did.
That's
I did
great.
pre-write. That one was pre-cooked.
One of your best ones.
But
that's a good one.
But I'm surprised the interview's over. Right? You get McDaniel, Pegula, and Beane in a room, especially Pegula and McDaniel. Hey, I mean, you better order in for dinner and breakfast and brunch and lunch and dinner and whatever. So, anyway.
And as you pointed out before,
I'll give you the last word on it.
No, I'm just going to say, that last word, as you pointed out before, you said, you got to order out for lunch, dinner, whatever. As you pointed out, we may not even get the actual order for lunch or dinner with those guys.
That's true.
We may not even get it.
That was what I came up with in the moment. I'm proud of that one.
Just write it.
I'm proud of that one. Yeah, proud of that one. Hi, it's Mike Florio. Thanks for watching PFT on YouTube. Hit subscribe for the latest news and analysis from Pro Football Talk.